Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Thanks for coming and actually talking to us today. So, for those of you who are not familiar with this whole thing, we'll probably talk about for 35 minutes going and asking questions about Sunny and his background, what he does, and then we'll probably kind of open up for questions. So I'm gonna get right to it, and essentially, for most part, he's an executive at Samsung. And you're probably wondering, what has Samsung to do anything with startups?
Really?
and for those of you who are who's been here before, you guys all know that I'm also from Samsung. So that's how I've actually known Samsung, and I've known Sunny for how long is it now? It's been
way too long.
Jeez, it's been really long, like 12 years or something now, right? So it's been a long time, and now I have him as a speaker and start a grind, right? So Sunny, let's just get right to it. Let's talk about your career experiences. When did you come to Korea, and what did you do, and kind of like just take us through the steps of a Korean American coming from the U.S. starting a first job in Korea.
Sure. But before I do that, I want to first of all thank you guys for coming to Samsung. Still, really, what are you guys doing here for the Samsung guys speaking in a startup event, right?
Oh, there you go.
Is it the beer?
It's awesome.
Is it him? It can't be him, can it?
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be him. It gotta be him. But actually, I asked that question to Jun as well, but he felt that not enough people knew about what we're doing with the Samsung. I worked at startups before. I believe I worked at a startup within Samsung. My wife works at a startup, right, Coupon guys? So, so today I believe we can have a very fluid discussion about startups in general and be very open and frank with it. So we'll talk a little bit about my experience. So I am largely an IT professional who worked with software in my life. Okay. One of my weird thing is that I'm actually from Georgia. Anybody from Georgia? Good. Don't ever go there. Okay. So as soon as I had my means, I was out of there and I got rid of those accents because I was just telling you folks outside there's nothing unsexier than a Korean guy with a southern accent. It just doesn't work. And I tried. It really doesn't work. So I felt that where's a way to get have some fun? New York. So I went over there. This is Southern part of New York, and I started doing IT work there. Eventually, I ended up in Silicon Valley, where I had a really good chance to work at original .com startups, raised a lot of money, failed miserably. Wonderful experience. Highly recommend it. Okay? And then their last company I worked for before coming to Korea was a little company called Oracle. So there's a company within it called Siebel Systems. So that's where I worked. And I joined Samsung in 2003. So that's quite a while ago. By my last count, there's only one person who's been here longer than me as a Korean American in Samsung. So that's way too long, right? So I joined Samsung when it had zero interest in software whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the conversation went like this. I did software. Yeah, we don't care about that. Forget everything you know about software, because this is manufacturing organization. So I spent the last good bit of 10 years trying to convince Samsung software is very relevant, extremely important. Startup culture is something that is missing in Samsung. And only 3 years ago, I finally got a chance to actually do exactly that work. We had a good fortune to start an organization called Global Innovation Center, which 100% focused on entrepreneurs and software.
Right. So let's go back to I guess 2003 when you started working in any whatever the organization was at Samsung. As a Korean American, obviously it's not like how it is now. They weren't very nice to people like me. And it wasn't as global, it wasn't as open. So I remember in 2003 when I was actually talking to Sunny, I think he had just come from the U.S. and I was thinking whether if I should come to thoughts about some of the stories that you told me that way back when, and then we can kind of come to the stories in 2010 and beyond.
So actually, we're very nice to people like him. It's just him. We really like him.
It must have been me.
It's really sad to him. No, I mean, obviously, company has changed dramatically over the last 12 years for sure. I joined the company when there was, some of you guys are from GSG, right? Can you raise your hand? Like, that's a proud organization where a lot of top MBAs come and join, and that's one of our internal consulting organizations. Aside from that, I was the only person who actually was hired out of straight from MBA school into that role, and it was not so there was no support for foreigners. You either learn Korean or you don't. And I never read a Korean book in my life where they said you gotta learn how to do this, and there would be a test at the end of the week, and that was experience, and I had to just learn everything on the fly. But all that jokes aside, actually that wasn't all that bad. Because when you come to Korea, there's so much energy and there's so much learning that's here that you forget about all that stuff. I would say, quite frankly, if I may say, the challenge of a foreigner working in Korea, not just Samsung, is really this one, which is you're more like treated like a visitor. They say, you're not really a Samsung person, because a real Samsung person's got to be there 30 years, right? I'm barely cutting it right now in my 12 years now. So what happens is, like a Korean American, like you, aka visitor, right, would be treated that way and say, well, since I'm treated like a visitor, I'm going to do my own thing, I'm going to be arrogant about it. And eventually, when there's a good opportunity, you end up leaving. And that's not good for either side, because it also reinforces the existing people in Samsung saying, see, this is disloyal. It just propagates that agenda, right?
I was this loyal, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. We have a big mark on it, so I don't be like back in people. But seriously, that's the only thing that has been bad about it. But once you actually learn how to understand and embrace the great parts of the organization, it actually turns out to be a wonderful experience. And that's most of the people who end up leaving do not necessarily get to see that.
Right. I guess, I just didn't have the patience to stay that long. And maybe it's gotten so much better, because I remember even just the first time I was there, all the instructions, and when I got my computer, and they're like, hey, here's how you set up, and they give me a piece of paper, everything was written in Korean. I'm like, okay, well that's not gonna help me. Right? And I get my Korean colleagues to come and actually set up my computer at that time. But now I hear that instruction is actually written in English.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that, right? So there's that. And then essentially, then you actually started an organization called, at the time, I think it was called OIC.
Yep.
Open Innovation Center,
Yep.
right? And it's now changed its name at the beginning of this year.
Right.
So can you tell us about how that actually started happening? And then, the kind of the mindset that's actually propagated throughout Samsung Electronics at the time that helped you kind
Sure.
of progress further with this.
So what happened was, this organization always tries to go out and scout top talent, okay? And the problem is, there is a strong reputation that Samsung has. It's not necessarily the easiest company to work with in the world, and I'll be the first one to admit that to you. So when we reached out and we tried to recruit this one very successful, super successful Korean American person named David who's my current boss. He's one of the very first vice president at Google, and he was the president of AOL. He's obviously a super successful guy. And we had to work really, really hard to bring him in to the organization. And because we knew that one of the things that Samsung really cares about is talent. And one person with a real conviction and courage can change a lot. And we felt that we wanted to bring somebody like that into the organization and help him, give him an opportunity to do something really amazing. So when he came in, I had the good fortune of being the first employee, and we sat around, David and I sat down and said, so what should we do? Well, I don't know, what should we do? And that went on for a little while, and we eventually realized what is missing in Samsung, despite all of its resources, is entrepreneurial spirit. We didn't have open innovation. We didn't bring in ideas from outside and embraced it. So we decided, let's do something very different. Let's set up the headquarters in the United States, not in Korea. Let's build a team entirely out of Americans. like Americans who really know what they're doing in their field, not just ones with good degrees, but actually done things like investment, done things like acquisition, and build a team around that. And suddenly you stay in Korea and just support us. It was kind of the idea. And it was a crazy, wild idea at the time, but it turned out to be exactly the right thing the company needed, because you need extremely different perspective to foresee when the company is at a stalemate. And that's what our organization is trying to do.
So, I mean, I guess what I wanted to kind of do is you gave us some slides where you can actually kind of go through and give us how this organization is not really different. I mean, it's not the same from the organizations that we would know with Samsung, because the typical kind of Samsung thing would be like, boom, there's an organization chart, and you do all these things and from A to Z, and that's everything we do, right? And I'd like to kind of just have Sunny explain your kind of organization, how you actually kind of look at this.
I realize I'm a big company guy because I brought slides. And June said, that's a bad idea, we don't have slides. Really? I don't know how to do that.
No, he told me, he's like, he's got slides, and I said, well, that's not a good idea. And then I actually looked at the slides, then I realized, you know what, this is probably a good thing to actually go through, because, having to explain some of these concepts without actually having something visual it just wasn't going to be helpful. So I just said, look, let's go through the slides. He's like, are you sure? You told me that wasn't a good idea. I said, it's a good idea, trust me. So if it's a bad idea, blame me. It's actually my fault.
Yeah, if I start seeing any of you guys fall asleep, I just turn this off and say it's his fault, okay? All right, so let me talk a little bit about my organization. It's called Global Innovation Center. The reason why it's called Global now, we used to call it Open Innovation Center, is that our charter is to invest and acquire and build company across the world, okay? So we have offices in New York, in Silicon Valley, actually 3 offices in Silicon Valley, and 1 in Israel, and Korea, okay? So what do? Our focus is 100% right in the middle. We believe the greatest disruptive ideas comes from startups, not from Suwon.
Amen.
Can I hear another amen? Okay.
Come on, guys.
Greatest creative idea comes from entrepreneurs, okay? And we feel that there is one thing that is missing is we don't know how to embrace and empower entrepreneurs. So that is our #1 mission. We only talk with startups all day long, and we try to help them really succeed by working with this mega complex organization called Samsung. So that's our mission. We do several different things. One of the most important things we do is we make investments into startups. We make investments at seed level, A round, B round, or even in some rare cases, C rounds. We have, believe it or not, independent ability to make investment decisions up to $3 million. And for those of you guys who know Samsung, that's almost impossible to get independent decision of anything.
I actually had to get approval for my $25 ticket somewhere.
Did you get it?
I actually had to go in and convince the finance that was a right spend that I needed to make. Yeah.
And by the way, the reason why we set that up is not because we're arrogant and we're better than anybody else. We felt that it was necessary to empower the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs cannot wait until Samsung has all the consensus built internally to say, are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? They just have to trust our team that we're making the right decision. And then so that we can fund the entrepreneurs within a month, maximum 2 or 3 months, and so they can just go and build their product. That's what they're supposed to do. We're not supposed to hold them up. So we insisted on that ability. So that's what we do in investments. We've made 35 investments so far since the inception of our organization. And we've done fairly well in terms of internal rate of return, but we've also bought companies that we've invested into as well. Okay? Second thing we do, we call Accelerator. We have our own accelerator. We have 13 teams in New York and Silicon Valley. There's about 100 or so people in the organization in that. And we have a somewhat of a different model. All of you guys understand what incubators are, obviously. We actually fund the entrepreneurs 100%. We pay them Samsung salary, we pay them Samsung benefits and everything. But they don't use Samsung system. They don't use our god-awful email system that those of you guys who work from Samsung knows. They don't use anything. We give them
I
budget.
don't think they can appreciate
Yeah,
that.
they can appreciate that.
That system sucks.
Anyway, the most important thing is we let entrepreneurs have the resources so they can go run with it directly, but the ideas that they build is for Samsung. Why would they do that, you ask? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, at the end of the day, what is entrepreneurs looking for? Obviously, you're in it for the money, I get that. But really,
We're in it for the passion.
yeah, sure. But really, what you really want is to be able to make impact. If I look at the most entrepreneurs in this world, they do it because they have a huge dream that they want to make into a reality. And if you're fortunate enough to get on one of these things, your life changes. And that's what their goal is for. Our team is scrappy enough and we're loud and noisy enough where we will get you a meeting with JKU and BKU. You know how hard it is to get to these two people? It is extraordinarily hard. There are many more doors you have to open to try to even get near them, because there are a lot of gatekeepers along the way. Our job is to get top great ideas from entrepreneurs, build in a team, and as quickly show them to the top leaders so they can actually make decisions and go out there and become part of our team. So that's what Accelerator does. We do acquisitions. As I told you, one of the things that Samsung is not known for is acquisition. Our team believes it is one of the must things that this company needs to know how to do as a muscle. We don't do much. We've only done 3 thus far. We do 1 a year. Quite frankly, it's hard to do acquisition. I can't really do more than 1 a year. But what's more important than buying a company is taking care of a company. So when we buy them, we really go out of our way to take care of them. So 100% of my job these days is to take care of that company called SmartThings that we bought last year. We bought it when it was 50 people, now it's 200. And I've helped them from every single along the way in making decisions to grow that big. And I will not leave this organization until that becomes a raging success. That's GIC's mission. Again, part of empowering the entrepreneurs. Okay? And then lastly, because of the fact that my boss is a partnership expert, he comes from running global partnerships at Google. We actually try to do some big deals for the company behind the scenes. And one of those things that never get reported, but a lot of our executives ask us to do to cut deals with big companies like Facebook and Google.
Which were actually my accounts before I left.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I want to just take a quick pause. Who actually knew that Samsung would be doing anything like this?
Anybody heard of
Oh,
GIC?
yeah. Anyone else? Oh, okay. Well, I'm actually pretty surprised.
You guys are all Samsung people though, right?
No. All right.
I won't spend too much time on this. This is one of the education charts that I say why acquisition is important. When you look at acquisition, why that is necessary versus investments or partnership, we want to say, when you want to have a great experience on your phone, you got to be able to control the entire user experience. And at certain times, when you invest in a company, you have to respect that they're a separate company. You can't tell them what to do. That is their product. But if it is truly amazing, and we believe that it should be a core experience within the Galaxy phones or smart TV and whatnot, we believe we have to buy that so that we actually help them grow and exert full user experience control to have to do that. And also, one of the things that we also try to do is mitigate risk. As you know, our industry moves very fast. And you cannot assume that you can build everything in Samsung anymore. It's not those things that completely change. So we feel that if there's a great idea, buy it rather than try and build it. Because building it is actually a risk in time to market. So that's one of the points that we always try to make with the company.
Right. And I guess before, even a couple of years ago, people would just be like, "Well, let's build it." Is generally the answer. It's like, well, but there's no, let's build it, right?
Before we move on to the next slide,
Sure.
one of the things that people ask what is hard about doing innovation at Samsung, and there's just 2 things that I wanted to actually share with you guys. And I would say, why is innovation hard at all? I really think it's come down to 2 things. Number one is, when you work at a smart top company like Samsung or anybody else, there's a lot of pride. Because we hire really good people. So there's 5,000 PhDs in this company, okay? And they all went to incredible schools. They all came from top companies. So when you tell them you want to go buy something, they're like, well, I can build that. I know I can build that. I have a big team for that. I have 500 engineers who can build that. So that's almost always one of those things that we constantly run into that is a challenge. And once again, we're saying, I know you can build that, but the most disruptive, interesting ideas, I just don't think it's coming out of Swan. I believe it is coming out of places where people are really close to where consumers are and looking at them day to day and evolve the software day to day. That's not necessarily Samsung's forte. Samsung is extremely good at world-scale hardware products done at massive, massive scale. So the products are nearly perfect when it comes out because hardware products have to be. But software is a living experience. It can change daily and it must change daily. And that is something that we don't necessarily know how to do. That's one of the arguments that we make in trying to acquire software. Second thing that I would say is the risk orientation. Have you guys, how many of you guys worked at a bigger company before? Few of you guys, okay. So the guys who worked at big companies know that, at least in Korea, job security is very important. And there are a lot of people who are in these big companies whose beliefs is their job to say no. Whose believes that it's their job to say, there is something wrong with that company, and here's what you'll do, and we will all lose our job if we buy that company goes wrong, right? That's their risk profile. And because what happens is, when you try to do something really aggressive like innovation through acquisition, if you build a consensus among all the people and it fails, nobody gets fired because we all agree to do it, right? But if you try to build consensus with everybody, first of all, that's not possible, ever, to find any software startup that doesn't have a problem, right? It will take months and months to do anything. And that startup, sometimes you can kill a startup by going and due diligence on it for 6 months at a time. And we have done 6 months due diligence. 1 year due diligence literally destroys the company, literally. So, what I remember last year when we were buying SmartThings, I was talking with a very senior person who says, son, I'm doing you a favor. If this fails, you will lose your job. And I said, I would gladly lose my job. So I will sign anyone that says, if this thing fails, I lose my job. And I believe that's the mindset you have to have when you try to do innovation at a bigger company. If you're trying to do if your top agenda is job security, you should not come to an innovation team at GIC in Samsung Electronics. As a matter of fact, I'm 100% confident that any one of the core leaders in GIC can get a job anywhere else, but they choose to do this because this is interesting. But that is the day-to-day challenge that we always run against, is the people that all believe that job is on the line if we try to do something risky like this. This is sort of the obvious but funny slide that I feel that I have to do. I told you that I'm 100% working on SmartThings, right? So when we acquired SmartThings, my boss and some of the senior guys said, well, you bought it, you take care of it. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And one of the important things that you learn is buying is actually, as difficult as it is the easiest part. The integration and helping the company grow is the hardest part. And becoming their strategic partner, making tactical decisions and helping them how to grow their people, how to hire the right people, how to work with the right business unit at the right time, who to talk to, that is such an incredibly important thing. And it takes someone like GIC who's been in the Samsung for a long time to coach a startup how to do this, because otherwise, how do they know how to navigate a 250,000 people organization, right? Because what we want to avoid here is absorbing the target value and make it look like that. I mean, I sometimes feel like that fish quite often, but I'd rather let that be me than SmartThings any day, because SmartThings has to succeed. I can be replaced, but first acquisition, first big software acquisition must succeed is what we do. Okay.
So I think we kind of started talking about SmartThings already. Who knows about SmartThings actually?
Has anybody read about this in the paper? You may not hear about it as often in Korea because we are, like I said, US-based organization. Okay? And most of our news articles come out in newspaper in US. And in Korea, our team do not necessarily try to bring attention to ourselves. It's not our job to say, oh, we're great, we're trying to get publicity. That's not what we do. but this was a big deal for a couple of reasons. It's the largest software acquisition that Samsung has ever made. I can't tell you the price, but it's significant.
How much was it?
Read it. There are numbers floating out there. You can quickly Google it. Okay? It's also interesting because it is an acquisition that has really changed Samsung's history. We did this deal in 45 days. Do you know how hard that is to do a deal in 45 days? I told you we usually look at a company for like a year and we still don't buy it, right? We wanted to prove to Silicon Valley Samsung can do a deal in 45 days. And that was specifically the goal, to do it in 45 days. I remember talking with the CEO of this company, Alex Hawkinson. He said all of his board of directors says, don't talk to Samsung. Because they will do due diligence until you die, and they still won't buy you. But when we bought them 45 days later, we sent the checks like, God damn, the money is really in the bag. You're right, they bought it. And it was an incredible moment for us. And you know what? A lot of people say you were only able to do this deal in 45 days because we did it in 45 days. If it takes anything longer than that, there will be so many other people who comes up with reasons why not to do something. And that's the thing about innovation, guys. It is so easy to say what's wrong about a startup. You have to train the people to say what is right about the startup, why we should take the risk and do this anyway. So that's, I'm very proud of that. All of us are extremely proud of this organization. And the organization was only 50 people when it started. It's 200 now, and it'll be more than 300 by the next year. And it now represents the core IoT software across entire Samsung. So every business unit uses SmartThings software to do IoT. So that's very significant for us. And we had to buy a company from outside to kind of like weave the needle for the company. So that's what this is. It's an IoT company. We actually started selling in Best Buy this weekend. So anyway, you guys are in US, please buy a packet. So it's a hub plus sensors plus camera with an app that you can control your home. Okay, so you can write a lot of different macros to control your home. When you come home, lights turn on. You know, all the things that you dreamed about within your Minority Report when you saw those movies are all possible today. And our job and our goal is to make this into an incredibly powerful IoT platform going forward in the future.
So I actually want to take a quick pause here because I think some people may not know what SmartThings is.
Sure.
So I think you kind of touched on it now, but you know, having an example of how that actually applies to like your smart homes is probably a good thing to just touch on briefly.
So, although we have a lot of devices out there, Samsung makes every device under the sun. One thing I'm sure you notice is that it doesn't necessarily work well with each other. The reason is because each one of these business units are given independent operation. They're allowed to make their own software, make different decisions. So while we try to work together, it might as well be several different companies within the big holding company called Samsung. So while we have all the assets in place, we didn't necessarily have an IoT software that threads the needle, so to say. So we felt IoT was something extremely strategic that we must have because the future is coming when all of these things talk to each other just seamlessly. But we didn't have a solution. So GIC made it a mandate within ourselves to go find the very best IoT company out there that actually has great software that can actually run on every device. That it is an open platform. We believe in open because IoT must be able to talk to every device out there, right? So by nature, ecosystem has to be extremely open and allowing where any developers can create. So our goal was to create Android for home. We had a chance to buy Android before Google bought it, okay? Not too many people know that. And we always tell us that we will not make that strategic mistake at home. That's one of the reasons why GIC always pushed for this. And so we looked at 190 or so companies. We came down to 3 and we presented one. And this was the one organization that we felt was the right fit to us. They had incredibly good people. They had entrepreneurs who's been working together for almost 20 years together. The 6 founders has built and sold 4 companies in the past. So they were able to move extremely fast, and we love that. We would pay premium for a team that moves very, very quickly and knows how to work very synergistically with each other. That's several things that we really like about this company. So that team, because they had such good rapport, such good synergy, and the CEO was extremely good speaker. If you get a chance to hear Alex Hawkinson, and I'm inviting him to Korea. She's going to speak in Korea in about a month. If you guys want to know, please contact one of us, and we'll definitely invite you to this. He's a wonderful person. You should hear his vision about IoT. So we're going to put. I got a couple of exciting news, which is you're going to see every major division use SmartThings next year. Our digital appliance, our TV, all of our major divisions, you're going to be able to find IoT. And we're going to be able to control all Samsung devices through one app for the first time in the history of Samsung. Amen? No?
So basically your TV, your Samsung TV will talk to your Samsung fridge and your Samsung DVD player and an LG air conditioner.
Let's not go that far.
Okay. Oh, so much for open, right?
Well, I won't comment too much about LG, but let me put it this way. We are an open platform and anybody can develop on it. Open SDK and companies that are supposed competitors to us, like downloads our SDK and use it all the time. Like, has anybody heard of Amazon Echo? Amazon Echo is a great product. You just talk and it just controls things, right? We are integrated with Amazon Echo. So when you actually buy an Amazon Echo and SmartThings, turn off the lights. You just talk to it. You don't even need the app anymore. So who did that work? Amazon did. They downloaded the SDK, they did all the work, and they submitted to SmartThings and said, oh yeah, approved. And then it was just a device within the open platform. And people say, why did you work with Amazon? That's their competitor. No, open. It's completely up to them to do what they want to do. And that is a promise we made to this company. And that is also an important thing. Believe it or not, and I know you guys are not going to believe me when I say this, they can make their own decisions. One promise we made to this company is the following. You will be able to run your organization completely independently from Samsung. Let me repeat that because I know you don't believe it. You will be able to make complete independent decision aside from Samsung. Although I'm their liaison executive, I do not tell them what to do. Never have I told them what to do. And if you see any of them has Sony ever told you what to do, they will never say Sony told you what to do. It just doesn't work that way. Because we believe this company was already successful before we bought it. It should be more successful with Samsung behind it. So we should trust the CEO, and CTO of the organization to run it the way it is. And that is the very first time we're also doing it that way. This is one of the models that I think is unique, and I really hope that it succeeds, because I hope Samsung can buy many, many, many more startups and let them run independently. That's the goal of what we're trying to do here.
All right, and then I think the next one is actually something that people have actually seen a little bit more here in Korea, which is an acquisition of LuPay, and which is now what is called Samsung Pay.
Anybody use one of these things? Galaxy? Raise your hand. Or is it Apple Pay? What am I doing here? Okay, some of you guys know. Okay,
I see one.
Okay. So let me give you a little example of what the product is. You guys all know what mobile payments are supposed to do. Okay? Everybody dreams about one day losing this big fat thing where there's several credit cards. And is there a way for us to just put all the solutions within this thing? Because for sure, everybody carries around their phone, right? So we want to have a payment solution, but the problem was it is not accepted everywhere. For those of you guys who use Apple Pay, know that, you guys already know that it is accepted in less than 10% of the places around the world. Because why? You need a special point of sales that people have to upgrade to, which most merchandisers cannot afford to do. But what we liked about this company called LuPay is that they used existing magnetic strip point of sale system to actually do the transaction. It's just like a credit card. You know how you swipe your credit card and then it reads the information? So the CTO of this organization figured out a way to literally talk to the existing terminals that a credit card is being swiped. The device doesn't know any better that it's different. So what's that mean? Now it means 85 to 90% of the existing terminals in the world can use payments from LuPay. Okay? So we felt that that is differentiation. That is something that's going to take the barriers away from electronic payments, and that's something we should definitely try to buy. GIC made investment in this company first, okay? And then when we found out the strategic value of this company, we decided, okay, what we need to do is buy it, put it on every single Galaxy phone, and I'll just show you how easy the experience is. Literally before you even open the phone, it's just right there. You just wipe it up, and then you have to prove that it's you. So you do your fingerprinting to recognize who you are, and then all you have to do is just put it aside your record. I remember when I was beta testing this, before we went live, and I was walking around in Pyeongchang and all these places, and all these people like, oh, we don't take that. No, trust me, you take this. And they're like, oh my God, look at this, look at this. It was like magic. It was really like magic, and I was like so happy. I was blogging on my Facebook and saying, this is bullshit. This is the reason why we do try to do innovation, right? We actually have a couple of members from our team who actually worked on this deal, In-kyo and Eun-jung. Raise your hand.
Hey guys.
So they are the one who invested in this company and actually helped try buying this company. So I just get to talk about they actually did the work, right? So if you have any hard questions, ask them, right? But this is I'm also glad to say that because of SmartThings, this acquisition was much easier. People now knew what acquisition is and why we need to do it. So once again, we're not trying to change Samsung overnight. You can't change overnight. It's a huge, huge, huge company, and it has many, many competencies that it needs to stick to. All we're trying to do is say software innovation should be done openly. And you shouldn't try to build everything from inside, bring it from outside. And overnight, we became a significant player because we bought a great technology that no one else had and no one else could copy. That's why you do acquisition.
So basically, I guess in terms of smart homes, IoT, if you're interested in IoT or doing something with IoT, download the SDK and you can build on it. And then basically you have to go through, any startup could do that as well, right?
As a matter of fact, one of the community leader of SmartThings is coming here next week. We're going to have an IoT workshop in this building.
Oh.
So all of the guys at Spark Labs who are working on IoT is going to learn how to develop on SmartThings, because we're launching SmartThings in Korea next year. So it should be really great. So if you want to be an original developer and want to know about the program, please welcome. We'll have free food, of course, okay, and free drinks, and you'll get to learn about what this company is trying to do in real life. So it's great.
So can startups actually also do the same thing with Samsung Pay? Can they integrate somehow in some way into actually getting Smart Pay integrated into their service so that it is very easy for people to just actually do payments offline? Because one of the areas, right, is O2O, and I would imagine that could be a very easy solution for people to think about O2O.
Yeah, so very good question. I don't necessarily have an answer to that 100% for a couple of reasons. Number one, this was an organization and a technology that was bought for our mobile division. So they own the roadmap, and they should decide what to do with this technology. This is not a GIC-ran organization because it fits better with this division, right? We don't control this. Mobile division controls this, so we gave it to them. There are several things you could do with this. There's platform business you could do with this on phones. You could do the online, but all of those things are in pipeline. They're thinking about slowly. But I think what's more important is before you try to do too many things, really make sure this succeeds on the phone first. So we still feel that more phones, like all the legacy phones, still need to be able to use RuPay. And then more people need to understand this as the common platform before we try to branch out. And I think that's the important thing here. Samsung, when we buy something, we don't buy things often, so we get really excited. So we try to make this company do too many things. So one of the important lesson here is make sure you do one or two things incredibly well before you make that organization do other things. That's how it's.
Okay.
And also, I don't know. So
I guess I can't integrate it into MangoPlay yet.
Well, one day you will be able to, but just now.
Who's got MangoPlay? Just FYI. All right.
Hey. UI looks great. UI looks great.
Yeah. So we just launched our new upgraded apps. So just download it if you don't have it. Make sure you do.
Shameless plug.
Oh yeah. No shame here. Anyways, I'd like to actually just kind of stop asking the questions, and I want to open up to the floor because I just realized that Sorry. Yeah, so
I ran over, sorry guys.
no, I ran over, and I'd like to actually just okay. So there you go. Why don't you start?
Thank you for such an interesting presentation. I want to ask, these companies was SmartThings and GluePay. I believe they were targeted by many of your competitors. Apple will probably fight a lot for this. What did allow you to actually beat them?
Okay, great question. I'd be very open about it. SmartThings, for example, another major company, I probably shouldn't say their name, but if I say it, you're like, oh yeah, that one, really wanted them. And offered actually more money, far more money. You know why they came? Two reasons. We guaranteed independence. Absolutely, that was the most important thing. We absolutely said, you can run your own show. We will not tell you what to do, as I told you before. So that was very important. Number two, if you're an IoT company, and SmartThings is trying to create a vision where it's on many, many devices, right? Who has more devices than Samsung? Quite frankly. So they said, if I can figure out, if I can get on their TVs, if I can get on their phones, it's game over. Quite frankly, there is very little company in this world that has that kind of scale that Samsung does. So that vision was really, really attractive to SmartThings. As for RuPay, it's not a surprise to say that other companies definitely wanted that as well too. But nice thing about it is our investment team did a great job of finding them very, very early. And we built a relationship with them. Most of this is also about vision, right? And again, it's kind of a similar story. If you are one of those guys if you're a RuPay CEO, you want to get on as many phones as possible. And you also want to create a platform where you can do other things and get on other phones, right? Like an open platform. That's his vision. That was actually his vision. But you got to have a great start. And any deal with any phone company is really hard to begin with. But if it's hard, might as well be Samsung, because at least you'll be on many, many more phones out there. So that's another reason why he chose us over other companies. And it's really those guys. They made sure you got them not keep seeing they love Korea at all. It worked.
Yeah, it was it. All right, let's go to that. Jim, one more. And then you'll go next. Okay, nice. Nick.
Hi, great talk.
What's your name?
My name is Vivek, and this is fantastic. I mean, I have heard of GIC before. There will always be the dark side. There's a rosy side that things worked, and it's always nice to have startups mingle with the Intel culture of Samsung.
Sure.
So there might be situations or scenarios where a startup was not the right fit and things didn't work out. Maybe culture or roadmap. So can you, without taking names, maybe can you share your experiences from there and maybe something that other startups can pick up from?
Yeah. No, I'd be open about it. Remember, open innovation, right? So there is a company that we bought called Boxy. It did not work out. Did not work out. And it's all over their public, out there. So if you want to Google it and figure out about it, you hear lots of things about it. So I'll give you our perspective of why it didn't work out. How many of you guys are entrepreneurs? Okay. So anybody who's an entrepreneur will agree with me. You guys, by nature, are strong-willed people. You guys, by nature, don't like being told what to do. You guys, by nature, have a vision and you want to follow that, right? So Boxy CEO is an incredibly hard-driving, my way is the right way, you're wrong, you just don't know what the heck you're doing, you're a corporate guy, Samsung guy, kind of type of guy. And he would go directly to the top all the time and whatnot. So that's what an entrepreneur is supposed to do. You're supposed to be scrappy and you're supposed to be very rigorous. So not every entrepreneur can succeed once they are acquired into this company. Because once you agree to sell your company, then there's a little bit of the engagement rule, right? You need to meet them somewhat halfway. You can't say, I'm going to do everything exactly the way I want. SmartThings guys have their independent operation. What they decide to do with their business, we don't touch. But if they integrate with our TV, then it is TV's business. That's fair, right? If it does get integrated into our appliances, then they have to understand what digital appliances requirements are, for example. So if the entrepreneur's goal is to truly remain independent and go IPO and run his own show like Steve Jobs, he could never work for anybody, right? That's fine. But if you are willing to sell yourself to a larger corporation and you want scale, you want your idea on many, many different platforms, I think you need to be a little bit more compromising and learn how to understand that you can't necessarily do everything like an entrepreneur used to be. Secondly, I think it is incredibly important, and this is a big lesson for us because Boxy was our very first deal ever. It was a very painful deal for me, and I really hated to see that happen, quite frankly. And I'll be the first one to tell you, not everything's a success. I told you, we take risk, okay? But what it also told me is that's the reason why I spend so much time on integration with SmartThings, because I feel that there has to be like a buffer between Samsung and the startup. Samsung guys don't talk startup language. And startup guys certainly should never learn how to speak Samsung language either, okay? But those of us in the middle who speaks both, Korean too, by the way, should be able to help support each other's side. So all I do day to day is go to Samsung executive and try to explain this set of SmartThings and vice versa. That's what was missing in Boxy. So next time we do an acquisition that is going to be more across business unit, I will absolutely, with David, make sure that it falls on the GIC so that we can help them succeed. Because until you get to a certain point and you start making money, then you can go off on your own. But not until that. That's one of the learnings.
Hi, my name is Nicholas and I'm from Singapore.
Right.
I used to work at a startup and now I work at Samsung. So it's not every day I get to ask a VP some questions. It's normally the other
You
way
didn't
around.
hear that. It's not really like that.
So,
We're all friends here.
So my question is this, right? So you mentioned just now with the SmartThings acquisition that you're allowed to do whatever that you want to do. So my question is this, what if what you want to do does not align with the business goals of Samsung? Like nothing that you make can be brought into DA, which is digital appliances, or VD, which is TV, or mobile, which is cell phones.
Well, put it this way. As I said, if they choose to sell their products in stores or work with Amazon, that's their independent decision. But what I said was, if they want to, let's say, work with TV, then they can't tell TV division what to do. Because being inside TV gives them platform to 20 million devices, right? That's a nice prize for any IoT company to have. If I'm preloaded on 20 million TVs, then you got to meet them halfway, is my point. So they're not going to tell, the VD division, do this, because that's my way. That's what I'm saying.
I have another question.
Sure.
The one question of, okay, just kidding. Yeah, it's the last one.
Well, he doesn't get to talk to VP, so he's one more time.
Not from your department, like the VPs at my department. So the next question is this. So because I've done some time in like startups and as well as like a corporate like Samsung.
Yeah.
So there are some cultural differences.
Sure.
How does GIC try and reconcile that?
Yeah, there's not an easy answer to this. I think the reason why, Korea team is always necessary for GIC is the following. No matter how many smart people that we hire in the US, at the end of the day, you got to be able to put it in sort of Samsung terms and explain it in a Samsung incentivized way. And that is what our team knows how to do. All the 18 people in Korea office are actually long-time Samsung people, but also understand the startup world. So we don't hire too many people. As a matter of fact, we believe staying very, very small is one of the key to our organization. We had a chance to be with 1,000 people. Even 3 years later, there's only 18 people in Korea and only 45 people in the US. That's it. Our team is that small. Our SmartThings and all the teams can grow as much as they want. But I think that's the key. Having people who understand really the Samsung way represent the US team is a key attribute of one of the reasons I think it's working fairly well right now.
Okay, next question. Robin, yeah? William?
By the way, can I see a question from a native Korean? Because
Oh, yeah.
I would just love that because I know that there's a lot of strong belief that most Koreans have about Samsung. So I would love to hear from one of you guys whether you think this is bullshit or reality.
And by the way, you guys can ask questions in Korean if you're more comfortable with Korean. And I'm sure, like I said, he actually speaks Korean now, right? So now, yeah. So after Julio, maybe
You're gonna speak in Korean?
Okay.
Sorry. 안녕하세요. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Julio. Now representing my soon to come be startup called Testool. And I'm interested to ask your advice, especially about a skill that I'm facing some challenges to enhance it, which is team building. You have some experience with cross-cultural, multicultural team building, and now need to start my company have to begin international.
Yeah.
So I have some kind of problems with facing different cultures,
Sure.
and if you can share some kind of experience,
Sure.
I'd gladly listen. Thank you.
Only two things that I would say is the following. I believe the entrepreneur's job, the ones that truly succeed, from my experience, is not the one who's most innovative. It's the one who learned how to scale by bringing the right people in place. Seriously. And so I believe the CEO's job is to spend 30 to 40% of his time recruiting. Really. And mentoring key people. So let me just talk about what key people is. For example, you gotta work on engineering. The reason why is every CEO that I know is way too ambitious. They want to do too many things, and the organization cannot possibly follow everything they want. So the only way for that, so if that person is truly, truly ambitious like that, I would spend so much of my time trying to bring in people who knows how to develop kick-ass product really quickly as possible. Because otherwise, you're never going to get there. So that's number one thing that I do is scaling and organization building and recruiting is where I would say good 40%, 30 to 40% of the time you should be spent on that at early stage. Second, when it comes to multiculturalism, we believe in big this point about ambassadors. Like I believe our team represents as an ambassador for Samsung as well as ambassador for GRC US. They call us for literally everything. I mean, like they couldn't even get through the gates without us helping them into the Suwon. Anybody who's been to Suwon understand how difficult it is to get through the security or something anyway. But literally, we try to make it as incredibly smoothly as possible. Somebody who's very patient, somebody who's really understanding, somebody who's truly bicultural. You gotta have one or two of those guys as your ambassador. And having one or two of those guys will make a huge difference. Just listening to one side and saying, I understand, that's a huge thing. Because most of the time, they're not even listening. You don't understand really what I'm saying because you're an American, or you don't understand what I'm saying because you don't understand something. But if you are a person who understands both sides, you have credibility. You gotta have personality in your team. Thank you. Nina?
Thank you. I'll try to be quick because I have to go to the toilet.
Yeah, there's words out there.
So you said that one of the VP at Samsung who said, oh, you might lose your job if this deal doesn't go well because it's so risky, but I kind of have the feeling that it's much less risky to actually acquire a product when the guys already kind of developed it than to develop it internally because so many things can go wrong when you start a project. So why do they see it as more risky?
And that's the ironic thing. We spend billions of dollars a year with all these thousands of PhD engineers developing something, and that is not a loss. To them, it's like, hey, they have a job. It's their job to build. But if you acquire a company, and it's outside, and it's foreign, and it's risky, and it's unknown, ooh, and it doesn't work out well, I look bad. That's what it's saying. And at that point, we've had some painful experiences in the past with acquisitions. And people did lose their job, and that memory still lingers around. Do you guys know the number one reason why acquisitions fail? Number one. Culture. Culture. Really what that person is saying is, I don't trust myself. And I don't trust that person to lead the next level. Yeah, it's really what that's about.
All right.
We have a Korean, all right. Okay.
Actually, he's not. He's like me.
He's going to ask English, okay.
No, he speaks Korean too. He's like you, actually.
You want me to ask her?
Yeah,
Right. Just kidding. Ask me in Hebrew, I don't care.
Yeah, so just a quick question about SmartThings. After the acquisition, like how do you keep them motivated in like a longer term? Because like you said, they're serial entrepreneurs. Sure. Like sold 4 companies. Like I'm sure they're gonna quit someday and start another company. So how do you plan to keep them like motivated?
Yeah, this is a terribly important question. So there's two things that we structurally did to make that interesting. Number one is, I'm going to give you the obvious part. The acquisition should be set up so that, you know, when you do your minimum vesting, when a lot of people can take off, right? Right? And these guys make a lot of money. There's no question about it by being selling to us. So we did 3-year cliff. Most of the money gets vested toward the end. So there's real financial incentive for them to stick around for at least 3 years. So that's one. But then, quite frankly, at the end of the day, money may not be the reason why they stay. Again, they're looking for the opportunity. Out of the 18 people in our office in Korea, 9 of them works 100% for SmartThings. And our job is to do whatever it takes for them to get that big distribution opportunity they've been dreaming for. Remember, I told you, they sold the company to us, not because of money, because they wanted to get on all of our devices. But somebody, do you know how hard that is? It's easy in concept, but putting anything into one of these devices is really not an easy thing to do. But somebody has to push for them. Somebody has to advise them. Somebody has to make sure that it's my job to say that I will get you on the TV no matter what. That's what's exciting to them. So as long as they know that there's a team that is working for them and they have a chance to become the hugest platform by getting into something, that motivates them. Because they can walk around and say, hey, I'm SmartThings, yep, I'm on Galaxy. That's how. Those are the two financial as well as really career motivational reasons why they stay.
Hello. I'm one of the Suwon engineers who made the way to also ask some questions. You mentioned in your talk about SmartThings that this will be like the technology that interconnects all the appliances of Samsung in the future. And I think this is a great vision and idea, also because of the size of Samsung and the different business units that have to work together, and it's very challenging. But just back in the year, like in January, the situation was kind of not so clear. You had like 3 solutions, IoT solutions ongoing, like this Samsung Smart Home. Maybe you know the advertisement of David Hasselhoff and Kit. He's talking to a smart home, and you can also see it in this nice innovation museum in Suwon. Already in January, you could see how you can control with a smartphone all your Samsung appliances. And on the same time, besides SmartThings, you also have this Open Interconnect initiative and IoTivity. So you have the feeling that the IoT strategy is not that clear of Samsung, and it's kind of still undecided. Do you have maybe, is it for you already clear, okay, this will be SmartThings, or like the Samsung Smart Home is already out of the race, but...
Can I answer that? I think you said a lot of things. I won't go too deep into it because I think a lot of people will be bored if I explain detail. But simple. We got in a room together in January, all the senior executives at headquarters, and we decided to get rid of Samsung Smart Home. So the MSC solution that June used to work for, gone. It doesn't exist. Okay, you left with June.
How do you know that SmartThings?
It was gone after I was gone. You know that? Okay.
And the decision has been fast made by the highest level of the organization. Without giving you the names, you know who those are to use SmartThings. It's decisions made.
Okay. One last question. Sancho. Hold on. All right.
Yeah, I think that will be the first and last question for Native Korean.
Okay.
Well, I think GIC already has like potential candidates for the acquisition. So I'm pretty sure that you cannot reveal the name of the company, but it's interested in what field or industry are the GIC is focused on.
Okay, that's a good question. So where's our next target? Once a year, so we're going to do it, right? Obviously, you're right. I can't give you names, but here's what we like. Recently, we had a meeting with Facebook, and Mark Zuckerberg said something very interesting. He said, "You know what I care about as #1 priority after Facebook?
Virtual reality.
What's that?
Virtual reality.
virtual reality. That's exactly what he said. Do you know what, Colin? And we asked him, why do you believe that? He says, imagine a world where you have friends all around the world. Your Facebook friends, if you studied somewhere abroad, are all over the world. But you can never really see them. But if you put on a virtual reality set, okay, and then you see June right here, and he's in Brazil, but we're cheering for the same company. Okay, and you literally see the stadium right in front of you. Not even the screen, but the stadium right in front of you, and your friends are sitting next to you. That's possible through virtual reality. Maybe not today, that's definitely going to happen in the future. We all know that that's going to happen in the future. That is a huge implication for Samsung. Huge implication. Think about it. All the devices that we make goes from hard to virtual. So that is an area that we have to have a point of view. Okay? Just put it that way.
I think you see some virtual.
Okay? So we are making some aggressive investments in the area for sure. We believe that's, we don't know whether acquisition will work better or not, but we like that space a lot. Connected car. We felt that connected home was the first place to start because of the natural devices. But you see how well Tesla is doing. I mean, I was having lunch with the CTO of SmartThings, and he says, "Ooh, Sonny, I got an update from my car. Tesla gives you updates in its new function. Now, my Tesla S can drive itself automatically. That's neat. Car gives you updates, and here's a brand new function. Imagine that. That's incredible. You know, it literally gets better. That's what blows me about connected car. And I feel that that is a natural connection to connected home. So it's another great space that we need to have, and we got to have a point of view around. So, and we made some investments there too.
All right, this is really the last question. And then, guys, he's going to be here for after this as well.
Now I can drink beer now.
Yeah,
He's
really
gonna
not to drink beer, right? So you guys can also catch me after this as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Have the last question. I was just
What's your name?
My name is Kai. I'm from Germany. I'm a founder myself.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we had some Series A investment, and my experience is that if you focus, like you either can, like there's only two things you can do. You can either focus on the company, or you can focus on the investment. Right? Doing both at the same time is quite difficult. So I was just wondering, since you told us about the due diligence and how long it's taking Samsung to do the due diligence, like 12 months sometimes.
Do you mean for investments or acquisition?
You talked about acquisitions, right?
Yeah.
How about investments?
Investments, like I said, the reason why, I don't know if you heard me say, we have independent ability to make a decision on investment. So that, if we like you, literally it can be made in a month.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the question is...
The decision, and the money will be wired to you with the payments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you, really early stage, isn't it more risky for the startup to go into due diligence than it's like for a VC or for Samsung to go into due diligence?
Yeah, but if we don't let big Samsung come due diligence you, it will be our team who does the due diligence. And our team is filled with investors from real investment background. For example, our head of our investment team was a former venture capitalist, so he knows he knows how entrepreneurs work, and he has hired people who's done venture capital investments. So he is not going to waste your time by asking silly questions that doesn't matter. So we understand time is the most precious commodity for the entrepreneurs such as yourself. If we don't like you, it's nothing, no offense, but we're just going to say no quickly. But if it is yes, then we should also say yes quickly as well. Make sense?
And 1 month would be great.
Well, put it this way. We can internally decide.
How long it takes, usually.
I just want to caveat that. We can definitely internally decide very quickly. But money will actually take a little bit longer to wire. But then you will know that it's coming, sure. So.
All right. Well, I think this concludes this fireside chat part of the evening. And I want to say thank you again for coming and